Taurus, there is a record, a detailed, complete, absolutely accurate record of every time you gave when you had nothing. Every time you supported someone when you yourself were crumbling. Every time you lent your last penny, your last drop of energy, your last crumb of hope to someone in need. Every time you held things together alone while everyone around you just watched. Every time you worked in silence so that others could shine. Every time you carried weight that wasn't yours. And this record wasn't made by you, it was made by God. And now, at this very moment, the time for retribution has come. You didn't ask for recognition. You didn't demand gratitude. You didn't collect debts. You simply helped because that's who you are. Because when you see someone in need, you can't turn your back, because your Taurian nature doesn't allow you to passively watch while people around you sink. You extend your hand, you offer your shoulder. You share what you have, even when what you have is barely enough for you. And perhaps you thought that no one saw, that your sacrifice went unnoticed, that your generosity was in vain. But God saw, and God doesn't forget. And now it's your turn to receive everything you gave, multiplied 100-fold. I know what you did. I know you paid bills that weren't yours, so that family members wouldn't lose their homes. I know you worked double, triple shifts to cover for the lack of commitment of others. I know you gave up your dreams to finance the dreams of those you love. I know you stayed in jobs you hated, in suffocating situations, in relationships that diminished you, because you had people depending on you and you weren't going to abandon them. I know you ate less so that others could eat more. I know you endlessly postponed your needs to prioritize the needs of others. And I know you did all this while listening to people call you stubborn, hard-headed, difficult, when the only difficult thing about you was your refusal to leave the people you love helpless. Can you feel that there is a force much greater than you preparing such a complete turnaround in your life that will leave you speechless? Taurus, what I'm about to reveal will help you understand why you went through everything you went through, why you had to carry so much. Why you were tested so severely, why it seemed so many times that you were alone even when surrounded by people, because God was preparing you. He was strengthening you. He was molding you to receive blessings so great that if they had arrived sooner, you wouldn't have had the strength to sustain them. Every burden you carried developed spiritual muscles. Every sacrifice you made expanded your capacity to receive. Every time you gave without expecting anything in return, you activated a universal law of compensation that is now about to manifest in your life so abundantly that it will seem like a miracle. Do you know what's most incredible? While you were helping, you weren't making transactions. You weren't holding on to favors to collect later. You weren't creating emotional debts. You gave from a pure heart, without ulterior motives, without expecting anything in return. And that's exactly why the return you're receiving isn't from the people you helped. It comes directly from the source. It comes from God, from the universe, from the divine intelligence that governs the law of reciprocity. People may have forgotten what you did for them. They may have become ungrateful, distant, even cruel, but God hasn't forgotten. And the payment doesn't come from them. It comes from channels you can't even imagine. In the coming days, you will begin to see doors opening where before there were only walls. Opportunities arising from completely unexpected places. Money arriving from sources you weren't even looking for. People appearing in your life with resources, connections, and solutions you desperately need. Ideas sprouting in your mind with a clarity that will show you exactly how to solve problems that seemed impossible. And you will know, deep in your heart, that this is not a coincidence. It's divine reward. For those born in Taurus between April 20th and April 30th, the return is primarily in the financial area. That money you gave when you didn't have it, that you lent and never got back, that you spent saving others from financial trouble, all of that will return multiplied, not from the same people, but in unexpected ways that will surprise you. For those born between May 1st and May 10th, the compensation comes through relationships. You who have always been everyone's emotional pillar will finally find someone who is a pillar for you, someone who gives without you needing to ask, who helps without you needing to beg. And for those born between May 11th and May 20th, the return is recognition and opportunity. That talent you use to help others shine will finally put you center stage where you deserve to be. But regardless of your birth period, all Tauruses who have given too much are entering a phase of divine receiving. And I need to prepare you for this, because you are so used to giving that you may have difficulty receiving. You may feel you don't deserve it. You may want to refuse, share, pass it on. But not this time. This time, you need to open your hands and accept. Because when you refuse the blessings God is sending, you are not being humble. You are being disobedient. You are blocking the divine flow. You are saying you know better than God what you deserve, and you don't. You deserve much more than you think you deserve. God saw every tear you hid while smiling so as not to worry anyone. He saw every night you stayed awake calculating how you would stretch the money to cover everyone's needs. He saw every time your body screamed with exhaustion, but you kept going because people were counting on you. He saw every dream you swallowed, every desire you repressed, every wish you buried to be responsible, reliable, the adult in the situation when no one else wanted to be. And God not only saw, He recorded it, He noted it down, He tallied it. And now He is settling accounts, and this reward isn't proportional to what you gave. It's exponential, because that's how divine mathematics works. You planted in the desert, you watered with tears, you cultivated with sacrifice, and now you will harvest in fertile land with abundant rain, a crop so large that you will need barns you haven't yet built to store it all. You, who always had little and shared that little with everyone, will finally have abundance. And you will learn what it is to have enough not only to survive, but to prosper, to live, to achieve, to finally rest. Taurus, one of the most painful things you've experienced was loneliness within a crowd. You were surrounded by people you helped, supported, and backed, but when you needed them, where were they? They disappeared. They fell silent, they made excuses, they abandoned you when you needed reciprocity the most. And that broke something inside you. It made you question whether you had any value beyond your usefulness, whether people loved you or only loved what you did for them. And the answer hurt. Most of them just used you. But God saw this too. He saw you being used, exploited, treated like an emotional and financial ATM. He saw people draining your generosity until you were empty and then discarding you as if you were nothing. And God was furious, because you, with your pure heart and hard-working hands, deserved infinitely better than you were treated. And now God is correcting this injustice. He is removing these vampiric people from your life and replacing them with people who will honor who you are, not just what you can do for them. The shift happening in your life isn't just material, it's relational, it's emotional, it's spiritual. You're going to start attracting people who operate on the same level of integrity as you, people who also know what it means to give without ulterior motives, people who will look at you and see your intrinsic value, not your usefulness. People who will want to reciprocate, contribute, participate, not just passively receive while you exhaust yourself giving. And you know what's most beautiful? When those right people come along, you'll know how to recognize them. Because God has also given you discernment through everything you've been through. You've learned to differentiate between those who are genuine and those who are opportunistic, those who are truly with you and those who are just passing through to use your resources, those who deserve your time, your energy, your love, and those who are simply wasting it all. And now you will use this wisdom to protect the blessings that are coming, ensuring that they are not wasted on people who don't value them. Taurus, God also saw what you didn't do. He saw that you didn't become bitter, even though you had every reason in the world to. You didn't completely shut yourself off, even after being betrayed so many times. You didn't stop believing in the goodness of people, even after encountering so much evil. You didn't give up on helping, even when it became clear that no one would help you back. And this preservation of your goodness, despite everything, is what qualifies you for the blessings that are coming. Because God doesn't pour abundance into bitter hearts. He pours it into hearts that have remained pure, despite the impurities around them. His refusal to harden completely, to become selfish, to adopt the every man for himself mentality, even when everyone around him lived by that philosophy, was not naivete. It was strength. It was character. It was a conscious choice to be different, to be better, to maintain high standards in a world that constantly pressured him to lower them. And God honors that. He honors his persistence in being good in a world that punishes goodness. He honors his determination to maintain integrity in a world that rewards its absence. And now comes the part you most need to hear. When the blessings begin to arrive, and they already have, you just haven't noticed them all yet, don't sabotage yourself. Don't reject them because you think you don't deserve them. Don't give everything away immediately, only to return to the scarcity you know so well. Don't feel guilty for finally having them, because you worked for it, you bled for it, you sacrificed for it. And most importantly, God decided it's your time to reap the rewards. And who are you to argue with God about what you deserve or don't deserve? You're going to need to learn something that has never been natural for you: receiving. You're an expert at giving, a master at sacrificing, a PhD in managing on your own. But receiving, accepting help, allowing others to contribute to you, this will be uncomfortable at first. It will feel wrong. Your instinct will be to refuse, to insist that everything is fine, that you can do it alone. But you need to fight against that instinct. You need to open your hands. You need to say thank you and accept. Because when you block blessings out of false humility or shame, you interrupt the divine flow, not only for yourself, but for everyone connected to you. God wants to use you as a channel of blessing. But to be a channel, you first need to be full. You can't give from emptiness. You can't bless others while being broken. So now is the time to fill up, to replenish yourself, to receive so much that it will naturally overflow to others. And when it overflows, it will be from a place of genuine abundance, not sacrificial scarcity. It will be, I have so much that I can share, instead of, I barely have enough, but I'll give anyway. And this change will transform not only your life, but the lives of everyone around you. For those Tauruses reading this who feel they've waited too long, that the blessing should have arrived years ago, that perhaps God has forgotten, let me tell you something crucial. The delay is not denial, it's preparation. If everything coming your way arrived when you thought you were ready, you wouldn't truly be ready. You would have distributed, wasted, or lost it due to a lack of maturity and wisdom to manage it. But now, you are ready. Now you know the true value of things. Now you have the discernment to protect what is yours. Now you are in a position not only to receive, but to multiply and sustain. God saw you persevere even when you were too tired to continue. He saw you rise when everything in you wanted to lie down and give up. He saw you face another day, another struggle, another challenge, when you had already given everything you had, and then some. And this Taurian persistence of yours, this refusal to give up even when giving up would be perfectly justifiable, is what has brought you to this moment. It is what has qualified you for what is to come. People around you may not understand when your life begins to drastically change for the better. They may have comments, opinions, even envy. They may question how you suddenly are doing so well, as if they hadn't seen the years of struggle that preceded this turnaround. Let them talk. Let them wonder. You don't owe anyone an explanation about the blessings God is pouring out on you. You don't need to justify, explain, or diminish your prosperity to make others feel more comfortable with their own choices that keep them stagnant. Taurus, there's something you need to understand about this divine reward that's coming. It doesn't just come in the form of money or material things. It also comes in the form of peace, peace of mind that you haven't felt in years. Peace of not having to worry about how you're going to pay the next bill. Peace of not carrying everyone's weight on your shoulders. Peace of knowing that you are finally being cared for in the same way you have always cared for others. And this peace, this profound tranquility, is worth more than any monetary value. You will also receive time. Time that was previously spent working to support everyone, solving everyone's problems, being everyone's unpaid therapist, will become yours again. And you will be able to invest that time in yourself, in your dreams that you shelved, in your talents that you neglected, in your pleasures that you denied yourself for so long. You will rediscover who you are beyond the role of provider, supporter, savior, and you will fall in love with this version of yourself, and you will receive health. Your body, which you squeezed to the last drop, which you pushed beyond all reasonable limits, whose distress signals you ignored because you had to keep going, will finally be able to heal. It will be able to truly rest. It will be able to recover. And you will be surprised at how much vitality still exists within you when it is not constantly being drained to keep everyone else going. Now let me tell you specifically how to recognize that blessings have already begun to arrive, because you may be so used to struggle that you don't recognize victory when it appears. If you've started receiving unexpected opportunities, an invitation to a project, a better job offer, a connection with someone influential, that's a blessing coming. If money has started appearing in strange ways, a refund you'd forgotten about, a larger tax return than you expected, someone paying off an old debt, that's a blessing coming. If you're sleeping better, feeling less anxious, having more hope about the future, that's a blessing coming. Pay attention also to doors that are closing, toxic people who suddenly leave your life, exploitative situations that suddenly end, obligations you carried that are suddenly lifted from your shoulders. These are not losses, they are cleansings. God is removing everything that would prevent you from receiving the new things that are coming. He's closing old cycles to open new ones. He's freeing you from prisons you didn't even realize you were locked in. Taurus, in the coming days, weeks, and months, you will witness synchronicities that will take your breath away. You will think of something you need, and it will appear on the same day. You will have a doubt about which direction to take, and you will receive the answer clearly and unmistakably. You will feel the urge to do something seemingly random and will discover that it was exactly what you needed to do to position yourself for the next blessing. Because when God decides to reward someone, He orchestrates everything, the small things and the big things, to ensure that that person receives everything they deserve. And about deserving, let me clarify something, because I know you struggle with this. You deserve it not because you are perfect, not because you never made a mistake, not because you are better than others. You deserve it because you are a child of God, and God takes care of His children. You deserve it because you worked honestly, loved genuinely, and gave generously. You deserve it because you remained true to your values, even when it would have been easier and more profitable to abandon them. You deserve it because there is a universal law of reciprocity, and you activated that law through your actions. Stop comparing yourself to people who seem to have everything without having done anything. Stop wondering why bad people prosper while you who are good struggled. Each person has their own path, their own process, and yours, however difficult it may have been, has transformed you into someone who can bear great blessings without becoming corrupted. Someone who can have abundance without losing humility. Someone who can prosper without forgetting where they came from. And that is a rare quality that few possess. God saw you help when no one else helped. He saw you give when no one else gave. He saw you sacrifice when no one else sacrificed. And now God is ensuring that you receive when no one else is receiving, that you prosper when others are stagnant, that you are blessed in ways that will make even skeptics believe in miracles. Because your story cannot end in struggle and sacrifice. It has to end in victory and reward, and it is ending exactly that way. Share in the comments simply, "It's my turn." You don't need to tell your story. You don't need to justify it. Just declare this truth that is manifesting in your life right now. This declaration will further activate the flow of blessings because you are aligning your words